Hi, my name is Geoffrey Alderman. I'm the principal of Nelson College, London, and I'm here to speak to you about prevent and the prevent duty that the college is legally obliged to adhere to and carry out. Now, some documents are important in understanding the college's approach to its prevent obligations, and the most important of these is the college's prevent strategy, of which you should all have been provided with a copy. This prevent strategy sets out an introduction, why we have to comply with the relevant provisions of the Counter-Terrorism and Security Act of 2015, what our obligations are under that act, and how we carry them out. First, a bit of background. Prevent actually predates the 2015 Counter-Terrorism Act. It goes back about 10 or 11 years. And the policy of prevent was introduced after it became clear that some vulnerable individuals, particularly in our case in higher education institutions, were being drawn into activities that resulted or could result or had a high probability of resulting in terrorist activity. And it was felt that by the government of the day and subsequent governments, that one of the ways of tackling this danger, which could and unfortunately has from time to time resulted in bomb attacks and the killing of innocent civilians, was to monitor behaviour of vulnerable individuals. In 2015, this monitoring became compulsory in all higher education institutions, and that of course includes Nelson College. Originally, we were supervised in our carrying out of this duty by the Higher Education Funding Council for England, but as you all know, that body has now been superseded by the Office for Students. The Office for Students has the legal obligation within the 2015 Counter-Terrorism Act of ensuring that all registered higher education institutions, I mean registered with the Office for Students, have a prevent strategy, a prevent policy, various other policies that I'll come to in due course and procedures that I'll come to in due course, and that these are being efficiently and effectively carried out. The prevent strategy of Nelson College, London lays out an introduction. It stresses that we in this college have developed a culture of safety and respect for our students, staff, members of the Board of Governance and visitors. So this prevent strategy applies to all our staff, all our students, all people who visit the college from outside, and on all occasions when we hold events outside the college premises, for example, bakeaways as part of our hospitality management course. The prevent duty requires us to work in partnership with a range of government bodies and boards, local government bodies, and other support agencies, including the police. And the purpose of this collaboration is to make sure that relevant individuals have undertaken appropriate training and that they share information from one body to another. I'll come back to this prevent training in a moment. The objectives of our prevent strategy are to promote the college's legal responsibilities, to promote and embed British values, as mentioned in the Counter-Terrorism Act, to promote the college's ethos and values, to break down segregation amongst different groups of students, to ensure student and staff safety, to ensure that we promote a culture of non-bullying, non-harassment and non-discrimination, and to provide support for students who may be at risk and develop appropriate sources of advice and guidance. I mentioned a moment ago British values, and the Prevent duty states that British values are expected to be embedded into the curriculum and ethos of the college. Democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, mutual respect, and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. As principal, I have a prime responsibility for ensuring that we embed British values into everything that we do in this college. In doing this, I'm assisted by my executive group, by the Board of Governance, and by the Board of Directors of the parent company of the college, Nelson College London Limited. Our Prevent duty and Prevent obligations should also be seen within the context of the college's safeguarding policy. This is available on the college website. Here is the latest version. And you can go to the website and read it for yourself. We are, in fact, in the process of amending this policy. We look at all our policies on a regular basis, and we are particularly concerned that the safeguarding policy and procedures should be easily understood and applicable to everyone who looks at our website. The college has 2 designated safeguarding officers, one for staff and one for students, and there is on the college website a short explanation of who these individuals are and how anyone, I repeat, anyone can contact them if they have a safeguarding issue. In a sense, you might say, our Prevent duty is part of our overall safeguarding policy. Members of the Board of Governance of the college and the designated safeguarding officers are all undergoing or have undergone special Prevent training. This training is available online, and if you're interested, you can go to the relevant websites and look at the training, perhaps even take some of the training modules yourself. Information on the Prevent agenda of the college is promoted to students by inclusion in our curriculum offerings, our safeguarding notices, posters and policies, our safeguarding procedures, our online induction information. Those of you who have been to an induction, I hope that's most of you, will know that safeguarding and Prevent are part of the student induction process. And we also hold a number of in-house training and development sessions. Some of these training sessions are carried out by me and my senior staff. Others are carried out by external experts that we deliberately invite in for this process. My staff also receive awareness training, particularly on how to deal with inappropriate materials and behaviours, disclosure by learners about their exposure to extremist action, extremist views and extremist materials, accessing extremist material online, parental or peer concerns, intolerance of difference, and anti-Western or anti-British views. At the end of our prevent policy, there is what is termed a referral procedure. This states in simple terms what happens or what could happen if I or my staff become concerned about the behaviour of an individual in terms of the Counter-Terrorism Act. We have a number of strategies that we pursue internally for this, but although I'm glad to say this has never happened, we could make a reference to an outside body called Channel. There is a local Channel service within the London Borough of Redbridge, and this service acts as a support mechanism for vulnerable individuals who may be referred to it by anyone. It could be this college, it could be a single person. Anyone can refer a worry that they have to Channel, but I would hope that would be the very last resort. And to date, we've never had to refer anyone at this college to a Channel process. How does one spot suspicious behaviour by another student or even staff member? If you go to the training websites, there are some interesting modules on how to spot suspicious behaviour, changes in behaviour, sudden alteration of views. I won't go into them here in this overall session, but there are lots of materials on the web giving assistance in how to spot suspicious behaviour and what to do about it. If you are worried about a fellow student or even a member of staff, you should approach the relevant safeguarding officer, and that relevant safeguarding officer will then, or could then, following inquiry, refer the matter to me. Of course, Nelson College doesn't exist in a vacuum. We are on the edge of East London and South West Essex. My staff, my senior staff and I pay attention to the current threat levels as notified to us by the police and MI5. You can go to the MI5 website, you will see what the current threat levels are. It's often supposed erroneously that Prevent is aimed just at religious extremism. It isn't. It's directed at extremism of all sorts. And in this particular area of East London and South West Essex, my own view is that the threat from extreme right-wing activity is by far the greatest threat that we face in this locality. We don't have a student union here. That means that we are not burdened with having to police external speakers who may be invited into a student union. We don't have college chaplains, religious chaplains, and if we did, there would be an extra dimension to our Prevent strategy to deal with that. In my view, I state again, the greatest threat in this part of East London and South West Essex comes from extreme right-wing activity. Now, we're a small institution. We have 2 campuses, one in Gants Hill Town Centre and one in Ilford Town Centre. Our students come in for their lessons, tutorials, seminars and lectures, and then go home to their families and friends. What happens outside the confines of this college is basically none of the college's business, nor usually would we know anything about it. But we can't stop people in the street outside our campuses parading with posters, handing out leaflets, shouting out propaganda. We can't stop that. But if you see it and you're worried about it, do please not hesitate to contact a safeguarding officer or even the principal myself. It would be dishonest of me to say that the prevent duty is without its critics and without its criticisms. At the moment, I'm speaking to you at the end of October 2019, Lord Carlisle is carrying out an independent review of prevent, and you can go to the relevant website, Google it, and in fact you can fill out a questionnaire asking for your views on prevent, and this will go before Lord Carlisle's inquiry. Why is there this inquiry? Some religious groups have, rightly or wrongly, alleged that prevent unfairly targets them. Perhaps more seriously, it has been alleged within the higher education world that prevent conflicts or could conflict with another statutory duty that we have to carry out, which is academic freedom and freedom of expression. Not only does the Office for Students require us to have a prevent duty, a safeguarding policy, and even a special prevent risk register. We are in fact in the process of drafting this. Here's an early draft of it. The college has a general risk register, as do all higher education institutions, but the Office for Students has asked us to have a special prevent risk register. But we also have a policy on academic freedom and freedom of expression, and that policy is also backed up by law. At what stage does freedom of expression impinge on our prevent duty? Mercifully, at Nelson College, I've never had to make such a choice. I've never had to implement such a question. But in some of the big universities and colleges of higher education, these questions have been asked. I am, incidentally, on the editorial board of a brand new academic journal called the Journal of Controversial Ideas, which has just been launched, which has been launched in a way in response to concerns about academic freedom and the pressures which it faces worldwide. To date, I've never had to adjudicate between academic freedom and the prevent duty. However, it could happen, and of course prevention, no pun intended, is much better than cure. We're also assisted in this college because we only run a small range of frankly career-educated and unashamedly career-educated programs. If we were a big university institution with a humanities and social science department, we might have much more concern about academic freedom and embedding prevent values in what we do. But I don't want to dwell on the controversies around prevent. I'd rather dwell on its positive side. We care about all our students and their welfare. We hope that they have here at Nelson College London a positive experience, free from bullying, harassment, free from prejudice. We have duties under the 2010 Equalities Act, which we faithfully carry out. That Equalities Act categorises certain protected characteristics, such as religion, race, sex, sexual orientation, which we have to protect. That's also part of our safeguarding policy. I don't want to burden you with a lot of policy detail. If you're interested, the policies that I've mentioned are all available on our website, and I or my staff will be very happy to answer any questions you may have. These can be submitted by email. We'll try to answer them as quickly as we can and as expertly as we can. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope you have a trouble-free experience as students of this college.